So Amazon just released their new Fire HD 8. This is their 12th gen 2024 release. And it now goes up to 4 gigabytes of RAM with 64 gigabytes of storage, which I believe replaces the Fire HD 8 Plus, although this one doesn't have wireless charging. But it's already on sale for $84.99, or quite a bit less if you trade in an older Fire HD tablet. Kind of strange, but they still offer 3 gigabytes of RAM with 32 gigabytes of storage if you want to save a few dollars. And then you still have the option of with ads on the lock screen or without. You've got 3 different color options. Unless you go with the one that has more RAM and storage, then the only option is black. It also takes a micro SD card up to 1 terabyte to expand your storage. They're advertising up to 13 hours battery life, but we'll test that here later in the video. It takes about 5 hours to charge back up, which is way too long in my opinion. The 8-inch display is 1280 by 800 resolution, so still not full HD, but it still looks okay, I guess, for its size. The cameras on here are not really that great, at 2 megapixel for the front facing, 5 megapixel on the back. This one has the little bumps or texture on the back, pretty much identical to the older Fire HD 8 Plus. I assume it's because this is the 64 gigabyte version. You can see it is closer to black now, where the Plus version was a lighter gray. You can see it next to the new iPad mini. They're almost the same size and shape. You still got the power and volume buttons, headphone jack and charging port all on one side. Along the top, you've got 2 speakers, and it's curved around the edges, so it makes it really comfortable to hold with one hand. Your micro SD card slot is there on the bottom. Looks like pretty much the same startup screen as before. As far as getting the tablet started up, pretty much the same as the other Fire HD tablets. It's a pretty easy step-by-step process. Once you log in with your Amazon account, you can also choose which apps are installed. And then of course you have Alexa on here as well. For some reason they don't turn the screen brightness all the way up at startup. Once you do that, everything looks quite a bit better. And as you can see, pretty much the same software as every other Fire HD device. Looks like they're even using the same wallpaper as well. As far as wallpapers, you've got quite a few options to choose from. Left of the home screen, you've got For You, which is just a lot of stuff to watch, read, games to play, that kind of stuff. Up in the notification shade, still looks pretty dated in my opinion, but you got most of your typical stuff like Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, airplane mode, auto rotate, screen mirroring, blue shade, do not disturb, Alexa, low power mode, storage. It also has screen record and font size as well. Looks like the only option to add is invert colors. Surprisingly, it's only using about 1 gigabyte of the 64 gigabytes of storage. Unfortunately, you can't get all the apps that you normally would on the Google Play Store, but you can still get access to quite a few of the more popular apps in the Amazon App Store. For some reason, I can't get Geekbench 6 on here or Asphalt Legends Unite, just something I like to point out. Nice thing is this is Widevine L1, which is good if you're going to use this for streaming apps like Netflix, and it goes up to 720p resolution for YouTube videos. As long as you turn the screen brightness all the way up, I do feel like the screen quality on here is probably better than what most people would expect, considering the specs and the price. It's got a MediaTek 8169A processor. For some reason you can't get Geekbench 6 on here, but as far as the Geekbench 5 scores, kind of what you would expect, maybe just a slight upgrade from some of the older Fire HD 8s. I feel like performance on here is just okay. It's gonna feel sluggish at times, which is to be expected for a tablet at this price, but surprisingly it does play PUBG Mobile fairly smooth on here. And even though you can't play Asphalt Legends Unite, it does have Asphalt 8, so overall not too bad as far as gaming goes. I ran my typical battery drain test at 100% screen brightness, and it lasted about 9 hours, which is not quite the 13 hours that they claim, but I'm sure they don't test it at max brightness the same way that I do. 9 hours though is actually really good battery life on any size tablet compared to others I've tested, so you can easily get a couple days of mixed usage, especially if you turn the screen brightness down. Now, having the 2 speakers on one side really isn't the best setup in my opinion, but if you face these towards you, it does sound a little bit better. Definitely seems a little more on the quiet side to me compared to other tablets I've tested, but here's a quick sample just to give you an idea of what it sounds like. You can't really get much simpler than this as far as the camera app goes. You've got a couple settings over here on the side for auto, HDR, and night. And yeah, sort of what you would expect on a tablet like this. Pretty low resolution, even in my studio lighting. If you swipe over, you can get to video and the settings. For video recording, you can go up to 1080p for the rear-facing camera, 720p for the front. The front-facing camera is on the long edge, but again, the quality is not going to be the best out there. Here's a few samples of photos and video just to give you an idea of what to expect on the new Fire HD8. So as you can see, not the best for photo and video quality. You'll definitely get better results using almost any cell phone nowadays. A pretty minimal update to the older Fire HD8. I feel like if you have anything older than the 2022 Fire HD8, this could be a decent upgrade, but pretty minimal overall. I would definitely like to see a little better specs on the 8-inch versions, maybe at least the same specs as the Fire HD10, or maybe even the Fire Max 11. But again, some of it's going to be personal preference. It definitely needs to be a little better in performance in my opinion. But hopefully this video gave you a little closer look at the new Fire HD8 2024. If you like tablets, phones, and other tech, I've got a lot more stuff that I'm working on, so keep an eye out for those upcoming videos.
So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.